Morning, everyone. Welcome to Excel Today. It is August 5th, 2022. And by popular demand, the B is back.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you who may have not seen last week's show or our last show, we had a poll if Joe should stay as the B, and it was overwhelming. I think it was like 80% said that you should stay as the B. So for today's show, Joe is the B.
I am the B. Yeah.
How you doing this morning, Joe?
Good, good. Super, super excited to talk about Excel's integration with PowerPoint. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was another topic that you guys chose last week as well. There was a lot of questions about how to get Excel sheets into PowerPoint and everything like that. And I totally forgot to mention that our PowerPoint, I think it's our PowerPoint advanced videos cover that as well, but we'll cover it in today's show. And then, yeah, I totally forgot about that, but that's going to be today's topic. Just some quick updates. Our shorts will be going forward will be available in Spanish and Portuguese. I've just got those dubs back, so I'll start putting those up. Those will start happening after August 9th. All the shorts going forward will be you'll have three languages to select from: English, Spanish, or Portuguese. We're still working on getting our longer form videos available in all those languages as well, and then we're still waiting for Hindi to become an option as well. So hopefully we'll have that available for everybody. Excuse me there. So yeah, so I think that's really the only big update. I know I've been talking about Excel VBA dropping. The last chunk of that is being edited, and once that's all put together, we'll get that out to you guys. The channel might look a little bit different to some longtime viewers. We kind of move stuff around a little bit, just put the most stuff that everyone's kind of looking for on our channel up front, so it's easier to find for everybody. And then also finally, I don't know, I don't know how many of you guys watch our older videos, but we kind of curated all of our older videos. We took out a lot of stuff that wasn't really performing for the channel anymore. So if there was like any old video that you guys were referencing heavily or anything like that, that's now gone, please let us know. We did remove a lot, but everything we removed was stuff that had, very small amount of views, but there was quite a few of them. And, sometimes people save those links and reference them all the time. So if there was any video that you guys may have missed, let us know in the comments or anything like that. If there's any videos that you'd like us to put back up, we saved all of them, so they're not gone forever. It's just they're no longer publicly available. So that's all the updates for me. Any updates on your end, Joe?
Nothing on my end. I am trying to right now come up with a Python course. So hopefully, once that's done and ready, I can start to kind of
Have
have
you
fun with
recorded?
Python. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll do some shows on Python.
yeah.
Um, and
Have
probably
you do
just like the basics.
Yeah, yeah. I There's been a lot of requests for Python, I know. Um, and Joe's working on it, guys. So we'll have some stuff for you soon.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
All right.
Believe me. Yeah.
I don't have a coffee mug, man. I don't even have a cup. I don't have anything around me. I know more and more people are going to the office. You know what? I do have this, though. I do have this. Again, I'm a huge 49er fan. And for anyone that wants to have something on your coffee table, this is the 75th anniversary Legacy of Greatness photo book. It's an incredible book. It's published by the San Francisco Chronicle. Not a sponsor. It's just something I really like. They have a lot of the older photos and stuff like that,
Oh wow,
and
that's
all the
sick.
old articles and the original write-ups in there. Uh, Anyone that's a huge 49er fan, it's a great coffee table piece or just something to have around. I've flipped through it numerous times. So go Niners. Oh, got our first person to. Oh, I'll take care of that on the backside, Joe. Don't worry about that. I'm bombed in the chat. Uh, these ones
Um,
are popping up on a lot of channels, other channels too. It's not just us. So um,
new
otherwise,
new Excel stuff that's coming out. I mean,
oh, is there? I'm completely unaware.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's all around. I don't know why they're moving into stocks, but yeah, they're like updating all their stocks datas functions. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, actually, that's not surprising. There were so many people now, in retail investing, everything like that is what they call it. which is just your average person, jumping into the stock market. People want to have more tools to track all their stuff. You know, you have incredible tools in the trading stuff, but I also, a lot of people like to have their own thing going there and everything like that. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I'm super excited. I'm just waiting for it to drop on my end. Once it does, I'm gonna showcase it in one of these shows. It's a new type of video that is embedded into your PowerPoints, but it's a live video. So
Oh, a
what that
live
means,
feed of the stock ticker then, or
yep.
something like
Well, no. So when you run a PowerPoint show,
that?
you can actually insert a video. It could be a circle, it could be a star, it could be a square. You can use any shape at all. You can insert it into the PowerPoint slides. And then when you run the show, it turns on your camera and directly feeds into that camera space that you
Oh,
just created. So
that's pretty good.
yeah, that's really, really cool because when you're doing a whole presentation, you can just have that on instead of having like a Zoom camera on. And it's kind of like you're right there on the slide. So I'm really excited for that.
That's actually pretty cool. Zoom within what you call it.
Within shapes and PowerPoint. But
Morning,
with that
Abdul.
said, yeah.
He said a dog stepped on a bee, and I'm seeing that bee. Yes, it is that bee. Abdul, last week Joe was a bee, and everyone voted for Joe to stay as the bee. So um, that's by popular demand. We're giving the people what they want.
I like that though. My dog stepped on a bee. Ugh. All right.
All right,
Um,
let's jump into it.
yeah, let's get right into it. So, what we're going to be talking about today is being able to embed Excel tables inside of PowerPoint, which they actually got a lot better within the newer features. If you have like an older version, it might still be quite tedious to do, but with the newer features, it's actually not too bad. So, with that said, I'm going to share my screen here for a sec.
All right, give me just a second here. All right, there we go.
Everyone can see my screen. All right.
Yep, they should.
So I'm going to open up my PowerPoint, do a blank presentation, and where you can find this tool set is going to be in the Insert tab. So this is where we're going to be focusing on today is Insert, and then we'll talk about tables. Now, of course, you can create a table that's created by PowerPoint, and it just inserts a normalized table. You can choose the size. You can also draw the table or insert a table and choose how many columns and rows you want. But that's once again just going to be, and let me just, no pun intended there, it's going to be a table that's created from PowerPoint. So for instance, if I wanted to just quickly, create a table, I can do so, start writing in it, name, date, and maybe salary, right? So this is great. PowerPoint has a great table design. You can, use some table sign options that you might be familiar with from Excel. Also, you have some like quick styles. You can, bold the lines, add different markings here. Maybe you want a border, and then you can grab it and do different borders here, which is great. But at the same time, it doesn't have all the functionalities as an Excel table. So the only problem is people are like, well, Joe, I want some functions. I want all of that fun stuff that Excel has. So what you would need to do instead of using this table design from PowerPoint, which once again is great, you're going to want to use probably Excel's table. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. The first thing I'll do, let me just delete that out, is I'm going to go to Insert tab. And inside the Insert tab, we are going to use the Excel spreadsheet. Now, once I give that a click, it's going to open up the actual Excel interface. So you might be wondering, Joe, this kind of looks like PowerPoint still, but really, if you take a look at the tabs, the different tabs here, really, this is PowerPoint, but within it is Excel. So even though we are in the PowerPoint application, we are actually diving straight into Excel's tool set where we have different pivot tables we can use. We can, grab data, load it into the Power Query. We have all the same functionalities as if we were in Excel, but really we're in PowerPoint. Now, one of the biggest problems that people have is with the table itself. See, when you click away from it, it stays the same size that it was showcasing when you first entered in the actual Excel table. So if you click into the Excel table, you can move it around, you can make it bigger, which is great. But the problem comes with, well, Joe, what happens if I want, the rest of my data that I have in here? So when you double click into this, and let's say we write name, we do date, and then we also do salary, just like we did before. What people get upset about is this. They're like, why is it not showing name? And then they'll click back into it. They made this a little easier, but the trick around this is instead of just like whatever's displaying here is what's going to be in part of your table, because it doesn't know if you want the full data set. So it's actually trying to help you, because it's like, well, maybe Joe only wants the name and the date and not the salary. If you want to incorporate the salary, you're going to have to use these little sizing bullets here that are going all the way across or around, right? And once you use these sizing bullets, what you can then do is, let's say I do want to include the salary, I can go over here, click and drag, and include that cell. So when I click away now it's including name, date, and salary. The reason I love this so much is because not only can we pick and choose what data we want to showcase, but we can quickly, after we click out of the editing box, once we just click on the table, we can make it really big. So this is one of my favorite integrations with Excel and PowerPoint because there's just so much functionality to it. So let's say, for instance, going back to this, if you had data that you wanted to, and you're like, Joe, is there any way to import the data? Although there is no way to import the data, you're more than welcome to open up an Excel file. Let's say I open up some fake data set. Let's say this is the data that I want to incorporate. So I'm going to select all the data, Control A. I'm going to use Control C to copy it. And then I'll click over here, and I'm just going to use Control V to paste it. Now it'll tell me that the data you're pasting is in the same size as your selection. Do you want to paste anyway? I'm going to say okay. And the reason it's telling me that is because it's like, Joe, we're only going to be looking at this stuff. We're not looking at everything. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to make this really nice and pretty. I'm going to incorporate the rest of the information here. And once again, whatever you're selecting is what's going to be included. So since J has nothing in it, I'll probably just go back to what I had, where it just goes to pay rate. And then I can just simply pick and choose what I want. If I wanted to get rid of the phone extensions, once again, we are in Excel, so we're technically in Excel, so we can delete that stuff. Maybe I want the first name, last name, employee ID. I can even, if I wanted to move first name first, I can use all the same keyboard shortcuts, hold down the shift key and switch between two columns here. That looks good. So we have employee ID, first name, last name, department. Maybe I don't need the email. Location, that's important. Hire date and pay rate. And once again, I'm just going to shrink this up because I want it to only display from employee ID to pay rate. If I keep those two cells, those empty ones there, when I click away, it's going to have two empty cells. It's just not going to look right. So you want to be sure that you're constantly just resizing this to what your data set is. And I think this looks good. There is no way to incorporate all of this because it's such a big data set. You could get as much as you want in there and maybe do a continuation. But then once I do this, I think that looks good. I'm going to just move this up a little more. And there we go. Now I'll click away. And this is what it looks like. And once again, I can, shrink this up if I wanted to shrink it a little bit, maybe add both data sets here and then add the other one here. You're more than welcome to do things like that. And you'll see all it does is just shrinks it without worrying about those pound signs, because realistically, we're still in PowerPoint. So that's the best part about this. I might just do another one here. I might just insert over here and then I would just copy the information, and you can do things like that. But I think it looks great. Now we have our information. Now that it's just a shape in PowerPoint, now we can start to use shape formatting for this. So maybe I want the outline to be blue or whatever you want. Let me make that weight a little, there we go, something like 6 point. And then we can add data. And this is part of really just doing data design. Not a lot of people know this too. If you insert, let's say I insert a shape, let's say I'll do a rounded corner rectangle. When you insert a shape, you can actually use shapes as like titles. The minute you create a shape, all you have to do is start typing, and there you go. So not a lot of people know that people will like make a shape and then make a text box and try to group them and do all this stuff, but shapes automatically can have text inside of them. So here I would just say employee data 2022. And then you have some editing options here. I'll make this a little bit bigger. I'll use Control Shift greater than or less than. That's a little keyboard shortcut, greater than or less than. Control Shift greater than to make it a little bigger. I'm going to offset this a little bit like that. I think I like that design. And then the last thing I might do here, just to add more design here, maybe I'll add some information here, or yeah, I'm thinking why not? Let's make this actually look good. Let's do an icon here. Let's do somebody thinking. And I love the cutout peoples that they started adding to PowerPoint. This is one of my favorite things. And once again, you can find that once you go to insert. If you go to icons, they have so many things now. Cartoon people, they have illustrations, they have all types of things. I like the cutout people because everything's already ready to go. And if you just type in like thinking, it'll start to come up with a lot of just different things. So, ooh, this one looks really cool here. Actually, I like this one. I'm going to offset. I'm going to make this a little bigger. And I'm going to do that. Just like that. And then maybe I'll put, let's put her in the back. I'm going to send to the back so that this is in front. And then watch how cool this is. I could do something like fun here. Let's do this. Have some data that she's holding. I think that looks great. And then maybe for this one, I'm going to put this now, since I don't want her fingers seeing through. I'll just put this forward. And then I think this is going to look good. I'll do a nice little, yeah, that looks good. And then it looks like she's actually holding it. So there we go. I think this looks great. We could probably move her over a little more. I'm going to also hold the control key to select both of these. And I'm probably going to group them so that they're all one piece. So I could just move this nicely now. And look how nice this looks. I think this is great. Now when you showcase this, I think that's a great way to present data. And once again, this is great because we have all the same Excel tools. So if I wanted to like add on the bottom there some sort of totals, I can actually use the sum function to do that. So I could just, once again, like double click into this, and then I can add some sort of sum function, because all of this still works. The sum functions, everything works. Equals sum. And then I could just grab all my data here. And there we go. Really cool. I love the way that this works. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed that. If you want to see more with like inserting and designing, let me know in the chat. I'm more than happy to do that. It's always important to design your slides, right? So even doing something like this is important. Or let's say that I had, I don't know, I'll show you anyway. I think this is a good point. So let's say I wanted to share with you my favorite, let's say my favorite animals. And then I had a couple of different things, like I love dogs, I love cats, and I love dolphins. Okay. So this looks pretty plain right now, right? So just going back into like that designing phase, you want to be able to design different slides. And I have a couple of techniques. The first technique is, once again, using a shape where we can just utilize, let's say for instance, a rectangle. This is called the flooring technique. And just by simply adding a rectangle to the bottom of the slide, look how that looks. Right away, it just looks a lot better than what it did, right? Because it's now adding some sort of design to it. We can also do a ceiling technique, just like this. And of course, we would send that all the way to the back so that it's not covering our title here. You could bring it down a little bit to incorporate the title. You can also use the flooring technique with one of your, let's say, logos, right? So let's say I want to create a logo here. I'll insert a picture from online, and I'll do Learnit's logo. Let's do Learnit logo. And I'm just going to make that a little smaller there. And just by using this flooring technique, you've now created a fun little design where it incorporates your actual logo in there too, just by using the flooring technique. There's other ways to design things too. You don't only have to use flooring. I've done things like bubbles. I've done a bunch of different just fun stuff, like even creating a, let's call it a target. I'll create a target here for a minute. Create a nice little circle. I'm going to make sure that I fill the shape with nothing. I just want it to be a circle, so I will fill that with no fill. I'll duplicate that using Control D for duplication. Hopefully you're all enjoying those keyboard shortcuts. They go a long way. I'm then going to hold the Control key, and I'm going to make sure that that stays center. If you don't hold the Control key, this is what it would look like. See how it's moving outside? If you hold the Control key, it centers it. So that's a cool little trick as well. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll duplicate this, Control D, put it on top, and then I will hold the Control key and center it. And I'll do one more, Control D, put it on top, and then I will center it just like that. Now I'm going to draw some lines. Like I'll do insert, shapes, and do a couple of fun lines here. Let's go right here with a line. Let's go, I'll duplicate that line. Let's go right here with the line. And let's duplicate that line, and let's go right there with the line. Yeah, that looks good. That's going to be really nice. Now I want to make sure that the shape doesn't come undone. So what I will do is I'm going to select all of it, and you can just click and drag to select all the pieces. Then you go to shape formatting, and you can group those pieces. And now it's all one shape. And now I can just duplicate that shape. So now I can take this shape. Let's put this one over here really small. We'll do one here. We'll do this shape right here. You can even off-center it a little bit. I'll do another shape maybe up top right here. And maybe one more in the corner. Yeah, I think this one will look good. Over here a little off-centered as well. There we go. So now we have some sort of design. Now you might be thinking, well, Joe, I don't really like the way that looks because it's like cutting into dog. Well, what you would do is you would just go to shape, fill, and I would just make it a very light color. So when you do, well, don't use shape fill, actually use shape outline and make it a light color. So it kind of looks like it's transparent a little bit. So it's like part of the slide in the background. And now what we've created, if you play it, is this fun little design. Just by making a couple of circles and a couple of lines, we have now made a cool design that nobody else has. That's the best part about this. Nobody else has these designs. So no longer do you have to sit there and use the design tab and pick the same designs that we've seen 1,000 times. Now we can create our own by just using some fun shapes. That's it. You don't have to go too crazy, but just have fun with it. We can even create a design here where we add some, I don't know, maybe triangles. I'm making this up as I go along. We're making this stuff up. I'll put a triangle here. I'll duplicate that. I want one up top here, so I'm going to, let's rotate this. Let's do a, yeah, let's do a flip like that, and then let's rotate it like that. And look, we just created a design. Just by using 2 triangles, we've added so much more to this now. So when we play it, it just looks good. It looks like we're presenting data in a great way, instead of just putting a table in the middle and saying, oh, here's the employee data. We've now incorporated a human, which this is really important to use humans and people in our slideshows because it has empathy, right? So you can see she's very happy about the data. It makes us feel a certain way when we see her. We're getting happy about the data. And that's all about the psychology of PowerPoint, which is a whole nother course that we offer. So feel free to check that out as well. But with that said, I think that's it. You got a little bit extra. I showed you how we can embed Excel into PowerPoint, but I also gave you some designing tips and a couple of keyboard shortcuts throughout the entire thing. So I hope you really enjoyed that. And yeah, go have fun with designing. Like I said, look at that. That just so simple with a couple of circles and just a couple of lines there.
Yeah, yeah, the simple things make it really pop. I mean, and that, like you said, Joe, like we do have an entire class called PowerPoint Psychology, which is just all about making your PowerPoints pop even more. We did have a question though from Zenith. I'm not sure it was in particular to this, but it is very similar to bringing sheets across. I want to copy a particular text file to another. Is there any shortcut link to that text to another file without copying and pasting? I have to do this step more than 30 times in a day. So I'm getting this
Yeah.
correct. You're having to insert this text file into basically every other file you're opening.
Yeah. So if you want like, I would say if it's just a text file, so it's one text file that you're submitting into another
In Excel.
in
Okay.
Excel. Okay. So yeah, I think the best way to do that would be to link it, right? I mean, you're more than welcome to link that text file instead of copy and pasting everything. You can link it, but the way you would do that, if it's from one Excel to another Excel, all you would have to do is, so let me share my screen real quick, and hopefully this will be a good solution. So let's say I open up an Excel file and I just want to link the data from one Excel file to another. What I would end up doing is, let's say I want the information here. I can open up that other text file. I'm going to just use, the first file here, Excel, and I would do equals. And then once you do equals, you can link them automatically, just like this. So I'm just selecting all of this data here. And when you press enter, it's now linked into the other file. So this is book 1. This is the file that's linked. It'll even tell you where it's linking it to. And then we have that information here. So if we decide to change something here, like let's say I write my name, so Patty, it automatically will update because it's linked. So hopefully that's something you're looking for. Another way I would do this is by actually inserting the link. You can insert links if you want to. And then you can insert, like, let's say I want to insert this link right here. So when I click into the file itself, I could just click on this and it's going to open up Joe's Pizza Shop, just like this. So 2 ways to link data. One way is just linking it like I just showed you, where we just do an actual equals and then select the data. So they're always constantly synced. Or you can go into insert and you could just link the file itself. So hopefully that helps. If not, if you're like, no, I need it to be automated, you could look at using Power Automate. We've done quite a few different things on Power Automate here. It's just an amazing tool that helps to automate work process and workflows. So hopefully that's something that helps.
Yeah, I hope that answered your question, Zenith. I think Power Automate is probably more the route you're probably looking for, but I think both those other options, because if you're like having to create the working from the same cell file, you could also create an Excel template that would just have that data there, on one of the tabs as well, and use that as your template going forward.
You created a video on it? Nice.
Yeah. Well, if you have the video, you can go to Offsite. It's our online community, and you can post it there. And one of our instructors, and maybe Joe, it might be Foz, might be Mo, someone else, will actually answer your question there. Yeah, Zenith, go to Offsite. It's offsite by learnit.com. Join
Yeah.
up there. Go to the Excel section. You can post your video there, and we will have somebody answer that question for you in Offsite for sure, 100%. And
Yeah.
that's for everyone else too. If you guys ever want direct help from our instructors, you can go to Offsite. You can ask your questions if you're having like an issue, like, hey, I can't get this formula to work. I just can't do it. You can post your question there. They'll get to it and they will answer. We answer every single question that gets asked in Offsite.
Yeah, and do what Zenith did. I think that's actually the best route, is to kind of take a video of what's going on so we have a better understanding. It's hard to explain in words sometimes what the problem is. So if you can take a screenshot, or if you can record a video, you can post videos and screenshots on there. So we can then review it and then get you the solution.
Yeah. All right. I hope that helps, Zenith, and maybe we'll see you in Offsite soon. We are at time though, so if there's
Thanks,
no other
everyone.
questions, we'll get this. We'll start wrapping up here. Again, everyone, remember to like, comment, subscribe. It does
Oh
help
yeah.
us out tremendously. All the comments, all the likes, sharing, letting other people know that we're around. Next week, Joe, do you have a topic in mind, or maybe we'll have a meeting of the minds and get something together? Um,
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think, you know what I haven't done on here that I've wanted to do, but I don't know who has real access to it, because I know it's something that's a paid subscription. But Smart Sheets has been just a topic that's been coming up a lot in the community. So
yeah,
yeah, either Smart Sheets or whatever anybody wants on here that you want to see. That's in within reason of my skills. But yeah, if you
I want
wanna,
Ruby. I want Ruby, man. All Ruby code.
I know, Ruby all day.
Yeah, all day. Cobol. Let's take it even further back.
Oh man, C++. Actually, C++ is still
Cobol's
working.
before that, man. Cobol was like a punch card system before.
We could do either Smart Sheets. We can, if you really want to get into like Python, I can showcase Python for all of you, like the basics of Python. If that's something you want, I mean, we'll only have 30 minutes, and Python is a coding language, but at the same time, I can show you like the real basic level of Python.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we'll put a
Let me
poll,
know.
guys, in the community tab on our YouTube channel, and you guys can vote there for what you want. We'll come up with three topics, and you guys can vote on it, and then we'll choose the most popular one. Uh, Python, please. Ebenezer says Python. Rural Excel is part of our central bank. Yeah, Excel is everywhere. Every
Excel is
company, every
huge.
office uses it. And if you're not using Excel, you're using some variation of Excel, like
Google Sheets.
Google Sheets, even Smart Sheets. That's another just
Smart Sheets.
variation. Or Apple Numbers. Apple Numbers is another one.
Oh yeah, Apple numbers.
Yeah, and that reminds me, we do have the Apple Office productivity videos done. Those just got finished, guys. So those will come in. It's going to be a while before you guys see those on the channel because we have so much stuff that's already been completed. But just let you know, like we do have those coming as well. And then Joe, I know you had worked on some of the Mac ones, and we'll have those coming at a later time. Right now, we're focused on
Yay.
2021. So hopefully, you guys stick around. We have an offsite event actually starting in an hour, and then at 9:30 we have our Word 2021 expert premiere. So hopefully you guys stick around for those. A lot of training, lots of content. We give it to you guys every week. I hope you guys are enjoying the shorts. And then yeah, that's it. How to integrate Python into Excel at a basic level. I think Joe, you think that's something you can do?
Um, I've never really heard of integration with Python and Excel, so I would have to take a little bit of a look into that. Um,
I think
I
it's kind
mean,
of like
yeah,
how doing the macros instead of using VBA, like creating Python code instead, because that's something I've seen a lot, especially on some of our older VBA shows that people always talk that people are like, why wouldn't you just use Python to do this? Instead of using the VBA recorder. I think
yeah,
maybe that's what
true.
you might be mentioning. Not 100%. Excel basic
Excel
to
basic
advanced.
to advance.
We actually have that on our channel. We have tons of Excel videos. You can actually go to our channel. There's a playlist. It has all of our Excel videos. If you go through that, you will definitely be an expert. There's, I think, about 50 Excel videos, and it covers just about everything. And we're also on our shorts, we're covering every single function. So we will have Excel covered in totality, one way or another for you. You should be able to learn basically everything in Excel just from our videos. Honestly, we have the VBA videos, we have power user videos, videos just on pivot tables, and then all the versions like 2016, 2019, 2021. So we got you guys covered as far as Excel goes, and we have more Excel videos coming. So yeah, it's something that we'll continue to produce. Hence the name of the show, Excel Today. So yeah, those are available on our channel if you want to just check it out. But we are way over time now.
Oh yeah.
So, anyways, everyone have a great weekend. We will see you next week. As promised, we will have a show every single week. So I know we kind of cut it down to the finish line here this week, but we were here today. So hopefully we'll see you guys next week, and hopefully we'll see you also later today for the offsite event and for Word 2021 Expert. Have a
Oh
great
yeah. Like and subscribe. Okay. See
weekend.
y'all later.